we're going to have a look at verse 10 and verse 11. So we're back in Revelation chapter 8, and we're going to look at what happens when the third angel blew his trumpet.
And a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. And the name of the star is Wormwood. And a third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the water because it was made bitter.
So if you remember, we have 7 archangels. Each one of the archangels was given a trumpet. When the first angel blew their trumpet, we had hail, fire and blood, and they were hurled down onto the earth. And they burned up a third of the earth, a third of the trees, and all of the green grass. When the second angel blew their trumpet, we had a burning mountain cast into the sea. Whether as a result of that or coincident with that, we had a third of the ocean becoming blood, a third of the sea creatures dying, and a third of the ships being destroyed. And that brings us up to where we are now, verses 10, verses 11. Then the third angel blew his trumpet. All right, so we're number 3 in a series of 7. And a great star fell from the sky, burning like a torch. So the word star is from the Greek word aster, which means asteroid. All right, so whether this is an asteroid or whether that is just how John, like what John is seeing, and that's how he's described it, it's more likely to be a meteorite. Right? Just because of the size of an asteroid, is going to probably do more damage than this thing would have done. But we know that when asteroids or meteorites fall through the atmosphere, they often, the friction as they enter the atmosphere, they leave a burn, like there's a trail or a burning effect as they come through. They light up, they catch a light. And when it says burning as a torch, each translation is slightly different, but when we're thinking torches, we're thinking not flashlights, we're thinking, angry mob with torches, kind of, they're holding a big torch that's a light at one end. So what we're talking about is, as it comes, as whatever this is comes down, it's got a burning trail. It's leaving a smoke plume and a burning effect. Now there is another possibility, which is always possible, and we don't know because once again John is doing his best to describe things that are happening 2,000 years in the future with his early church eyes. It is a possibility that this is a nuclear weapon or some other type of modern warfare strike, because he's seeing what he thinks looks like an asteroid, but is it? Is it not? It's a great star. That's all we know. All right. So it's big, and it's falling, and it's coming from the sky. Now this thing hits the land. All right. It pollutes a third of the rivers and a third of the springs. All right. Here's the fresh water supply.
Yeah.
Stuffed. Right.
So the green, the seas, and
so the grass is gone.
Water, yeah.
The salt water's got a problem. All right, and now we've got the drinking water.
I'll have to come and get our D-cell plant.
I don't know if that works on blood.
I really can D-cell.
Okay.
What area are you going to use to run?
So we know what the impact is, and then it gives us this extra detail, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Right? The name of the star. Now, some translations will say the star is wormwood, and others will say the star is bitterness. Wormwood is translated, or bitterness is translated from the Greek word absinthos, and that's basically a plant. So this plant belongs to the genus Artemisia. Now, it's interesting, the Australian basin is from this word Artemisia as well. Like the Asian basin comes, we're talking the same roots, right? Which is just interesting to me that the genus that this plant comes from has another link with the fresh water. Right. Now, this plant is very bitter to the taste, which is why when the Jews hear this word, they're going to go, oh, that's really bitter. It produces a dark green oil, and people used to take that oil, and people still do take that oil to kill intestinal worms. Right? This is the natural ivermectin. Right? Now it tastes very bitter, like it's one of those very bitter things if you're going to take it. And people would take it in small doses to get rid of their intestinal worms. In fact, in John's day, that's what the treatment was if you had intestinal worms. You take it in small doses for a limited time because it's kind of toxic, And you want to take it for long enough to kill off the things that are living, the parasites that are living in you, but not long enough to kill yourself, right? It's poisonous. In the Old Testament, wormwood is a symbol of bitterness and sorrow. Okay? And Proverbs warns about, it's funny, warns about strange women whose lips drip honey, but in the end are as bitter as wormwood. Right? Proverbs 5. Right, so what this is saying is that the drinking water is going to be made bitter, and it's going to become mildly toxic. Okay, so it's not going to be immediately deadly, but not great for you in the long term. Okay, so you get the only option for drinking fresh water. So either you've got a choice, right? You're either going to not drink the water, refuse to drink the water because it tastes horrible and it's going to kill you and it's poisoned, and you're going to die of thirst because humans can't live without drinking stuff, right? Or you're going to drink it, hate the taste, and die slowly.
Get it over and done with.
Choose your option.
Take a good dose.
So you won't have any worms.
I know. Yeah. Just get it over and done with.
And don't you?
Yeah.
You'd be dead without worms.
Got something to eat when you're having though.
Yep. I don't know the water filter's going to help you. Mind you, if you're not already filtering your water, probably a good idea, just quietly.